Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the TradeStation Getting Started. For those that are joining us for the first time, my name is Jesus Nava. I'm the Director of Client Training and Education for TradeStation Securities. And we do these classes every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to help you get started with the TradeStation platforms. There are several platforms that TradeStation provides. Today, we're going to focus on the TradeStation Desktop, but we also do classes on TradeStation Web Trading, TradeStation Mobile, TradeStation Futures Plus, TradeStation Option Station Pro, and the TradeStation Client Center. So make sure that you tune in for the other classes. We also have a recording for each one of these. So if you were looking for specific education on a platform that we're not going to showcase today, we have a recording for those as well. I can point you there if needed. But as I said at the beginning of the presentation, right now, it's all about the TradeStation Desktop. Let's go through some disclosures before we get started and switch over to the platform. Every symbol and idea that I talk about is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations of TradeStation. Also, active trading is not suitable for everyone, and past historical performance is no guarantee of future results. For additional information on these disclosures, go to www.tradestation.com/important-information. So thank you everyone for taking time out of your schedules to be here and learn a little bit about TradeStation. The chat is open, so you're welcome to submit any questions or any comments about the presentation. The whole purpose of me being here live is to address any questions or concerns you may have about the TradeStation platform. But let me go ahead and switch over here to the desktop. And this is what it looks like when you first install it. I've already downloaded it and installed it on my computer. I logged in to the trading simulator. A few ways that you can tell which environment you're connected to is by looking right here at the bottom of my or your TradeStation and looking at your account number. Account numbers that are simulated start with the letters SIM for simulator. And over here at the bottom right corner, you also see a blue button for simulated. If you were connected to your live account, that button would be green and it would say live. But when you first install TradeStation and you log in, you get access to the TradeStation Today workspace. It's a way for us to tell you, what's going on with the market. Right here on the top left, we have, a timer countdown as to how much time is left in the trading session. Below that, we have a collection of quick start videos that you're welcome to watch as well. These quick start videos are also on the TradeStation YouTube channel, but they do provide an overview, a very short overview of the applications of the TradeStation Desktop. Below that, you have recommended workspaces and recent workspace, which are kind of templates. If you're having difficulty, organizing the applications and setting up your layout, those are there as samples. You can open them, edit them, change them around and save them as if they were your own. And right here in the middle, we have the What's Happening box. This is connected to our news provider, and it's updated frequently to show you, what's going on with the markets. Over here on the right, we have upcoming events, which are also the events that you see when you go to the events page on tradestation.com. So we have them in both places so that you can keep an eye on what's upcoming and you can register for any of the classes that are happening going forward. For example, this is the class today for October 9th. Next week, on Monday, we have options replay. I'm not sure if you heard of this class, but this is the class where we do a retrospective on some trades and look at their performance, whether they worked or didn't work. So our guest speaker, Brandon Wendell, chooses a particular strategy based on market conditions. He kind of presents a strategy that can be applied. And then we talk about the results. Did it work? Why did it work or why it didn't work? So it's a very interesting way of presenting trading ideas. So make sure that you join us next Monday, October 14th. And on the 15th, which is next Tuesday, we have our second installment of our Futures Plus Masterclass. We're going to talk about spread trading, futures spread trading using Futures Plus platform, which is different than the desktop here. So if you're interested in trading future spreads, then that's the class to join. That's the second installment of Futures Plus. If you're looking for the first one, it's been added to the archive page and also to the TradeStation YouTube channel. And right here at the bottom right corner, we have the What's New box. Every time that TradeStation Desktop goes through an update, we'll show you what's been enhanced, what's been fixed, and what's been changed inside of the TradeStation Desktop, so you can just keep an eye for those changes. All right. So this is the TradeStation Today workspace. I call it a workspace because it is a tab right here at the bottom of my TradeStation Desktop, and you can open it up. If you don't have it at the bottom of your TradeStation, just go to the apps menu and you find the TS Today button right here on the top, which allows you or gives you access to the TradeStation Today workspace. Okay. Give me just a moment. Let me just do something here. Okay. Perfect. Let me go ahead and open up a new workspace. A lot of the work that we do here in classes is from scratch, and I like to open up a new workspace and click on the plus at the bottom left of my desktop. Anytime that you need a new workspace, all you need to do is click there. You can see that it says untitled workspace because I haven't saved it. I do recommend that everyone here saves your workspaces so that you don't have to recreate them from scratch every single time you log into TradeStation. All your work, charts, matrices, time and sales, anything you add to the workspace is saved to your computer locally. And that way, when TradeStation launches next time, it should open everything that you had opened when you were using it last. Over here on this new workspace, I'm going to open up a chart. So I'm going to go to the apps menu. Inside of the apps menu, you find all the applications you can open up within TradeStation. Today, because of time, we're just going to highlight a few, maybe 3 or 4, depending on how much time we have. And we're going to start with chart analysis, which is a straight up chart. Anytime you need a chart, just go to apps and click on chart analysis. You can do that as many times as you need to. It'll open up a chart window that is independent, and you can just drag it around. You can, position your cursor on one of the corners and resize it to any shape or form inside of the workspace. Very customizable. That's one of the things one of the highlights of the TradeStation Desktop is that you can customize your platform to be the trading platform that you want it to be. Again, you can open as many chart windows as you need. Let me go ahead and resize this and talk about a few things you can do in charting. One of the shortcuts that I use a lot is changing the symbol and changing the time frame. And I do that with the keyboard. There are menus that allow you to change the time frame. For example, we have a dedicated time frame button. But many times, since I'm already on the keyboard, I tend to do a lot of commands using my keyboard. I can also change the symbol by going here to data and editing the symbol. And then you see a box here for the symbol where you can edit it. But knowing that I can type in the symbol right into the chart makes it very simple for me. For example, right now I'm looking at a Airbnb 5-minute chart that I can change to a different security. Let's say, for example, that we wanted to take a look at Tesla. I'm going to type in TSLA, and I want everybody to notice that the command line pops up right there in the middle of the screen. I didn't have to click anywhere to get the pop-up, because as soon as you start typing, TradeStation assumes that you're providing a command, and it'll show you the command line. And you can see that TSLA is what shows up inside of that command line, because that's exactly what I typed in. And as soon as I hit the enter key on my keyboard, then the command is sent and the symbol is changed to Tesla. If I wanted to change this to Apple, AAPL, enter. Now I'm looking at a chart of Apple. If I wanted to switch to futures, and I do ES, what month is it? We're in September, so let's do U24. I'm not sure if if this is still the front month, it should be the front month. Although we're in the month of October, sorry, we're not in that's sorry. We're in the month of October, so I'm sure this has expired already. Yeah, this expired a while back. So the symbol will be ESZ24. Yeah, that would be the December contract, the one that is the front month. So as you can see, changing the symbol is very simple. You can also change the time frame by typing it in. For example, I'm looking at the futures. If I want to do a daily chart on the ES futures, I just type in the word daily, hit enter, and then this is the daily chart. If I want to do a weekly, I just type in the word weekly, and this is a weekly chart. If I want to go back to intraday, I just have to type in the abbreviation MIN with the minutes that I want to see. For example, if I want to do a 120-minute chart, I type in 120 space MIN, hit enter, and that's what I'm looking at right here. Okay, this is a 2-hour candlestick. So yes, so those two things, symbol and time frame, can be typed in into your chart. Let me switch over to a stock. I'm going to do Walmart, WMT, and I'm going to go over here and select a 5-minute. This is a 5-minute chart of Walmart. What I can also do on this chart is load historical data. Notice that if I press, actually, I was doing something that I didn't tell you what I was doing, but you saw my chart expand and compress. I did that very quickly using the up arrow and down arrow keys on your keyboard. So make sure that you have a chart open and press the up arrow key or the down arrow key, and you'll see how the chart compresses and expands. If I do the down arrow key all the way until I can not go any further, you can see how the chart kind of squashes on the left-hand side, and I have all this empty space on the right. The reason for that is because TradeStation gives you a default amount of historical data to make things more efficient and load up faster. But if I wanted to fill up my chart, which, as you can see, doesn't do it automatically, all I need to do is request historical data. And yes, I can do that with a simple command or command line command. All I need to do is specify the amount of data that I need, whether you want to express that in days, weeks, or months, or years. For example, if I do 6 months, then I see 6 months of historical data for Walmart. If I do 2 years, and it's a lot of data on a 5-minute time frame, you'll see the PD in yellow right here on the top left corner. The PD just stands for pending data, and it's not until the PD goes away that it just did. It just went away. So when it goes away, it just means that I have the 2 years of data on Walmart. And if I go and scroll all the way to the back, I can check the date on that very first bar by clicking on the background, holding down my mouse button, and then bringing my x-axis to the very first bar. And as you can see, we're talking about, you can see the date right there in the data tips window. This is October 10th, 2022. So exactly 2 years back on a 5-minute time frame. One of the things that TradeStation has is a massive historical database that you can tap into. All you need to do is request the data, and TradeStation will provide it to you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at drawings and also take a look at technical indicators, which is some of the things that you do in charting. In fact, I see Stephanie's question here: how do I display the drawing toolbar on my screen, especially on the right side of the chart workspace? Well, there are drawing tools that you can enable or disable. Let me go here to the drawing menu, and all the way at the very bottom of the drawing menu, you see toggle drawing toolbar. If I click it, it'll show you the drawing toolbar here on the left-hand side. I don't believe we have the ability to set this toolbar on the right-hand side, though. I know that you're asking if you can put it on the right side, but I think it's either, I think the only option you have is here on the left-hand side in a vertical format. You can remove some of the buttons if you want to simplify the toolbar, but this is the way that you bring it up. If I wanted to do a horizontal line, which is this button right here, notice how my cursor changes, and I can just drop a horizontal line anywhere I want. I've changed the colors and I've changed the size of my font. Those are things you can do by default. If I double click on that line, I get those, configuration windows, the style, uh, the labels, and so forth. So make sure that you change it so that it looks better on the screen. I know that by default, the lines tend to be a little bit thinner or thin to my taste. I prefer them to be a little bit thicker. And the text, of course, I like it to be bold and bigger as well. Especially for these type of presentations, I want you to be or get a good visual of the things that I'm doing. But this line right here, I can click and drag to any location I want and put it at any price. If you wanted to have a little bit more precision as to what price you want the line at, you can always double click on the line, go to the data tab, and enter the price manually. Then click OK. And there I have my line. One thing that you can do to lines also is double clicking on them and enable the alert. If I look at the chart right now, I can see that the price is touching my $80 line. Right now it's touching, so it should trigger the alert in just a moment. I'm going to enable the alert, but only alert once per bar. So alert continuously. The problem with alert continuously is that if every tick meets the criteria, you're going to get an alert per tick. Okay, so sometimes think about how frequent you want the alert to happen. If I click OK, then I have an alert set up. As soon as that candle touches my horizontal line, I should get alerted. And of course, since I just set up an alert or something to happen on my chart, then the price will not cooperate and will not head in the direction that I'm expecting it to go. But notice that I'm continuing to open my chart using the up arrow key, and I can see more detail on the chart. Okay, but as soon as I get a touch in that line, I should get a pop-up message right here at the bottom, letting me know that the alert hasn't been met. Well, it has to break the lines. Right now it's at 80. There we go. It went to 79.98, and I'm getting the alert down here. It's a horizontal line triggered on symbol Walmart. Okay, so if you're setting up alerts, yeah, you can have the workspace in the background, monitoring the price activity and setting up alerts for you. In terms of studies, they're all going to be here in the studies menu. I'm going to click on Add Study. Okay, you get the list of studies here. They're grouped in categories. We have indicators, show me's. So we have some specialized types of analysis techniques within, the list. So what I recommend is that you explore. We have documentation on a lot of these studies, so you're welcome to learn a little bit about anything you see here. For example, if I go here to paint bar and I see one that it says implied volatility extreme, I may want to know what that does. So if I highlight it and I click on definition, it'll open up help documentation explaining some of the parameters that you have to set and what the indicator is doing for you. So make sure that you explore in that way. I'm going to go here to indicator and use something that makes sense to everyone, something simple like a moving average 2-line. And I'm just going to click OK here. Okay, so you can see that it brings in the 2 lines. I didn't have to supply parameters because every study has default parameters. But if I wanted to do something different, like for example, if I wanted to compare a 30-day or a 30 bar versus a 60 bar moving average, then I can change those. And I say the word bar because when you set a parameter, the parameter is based on the interval of the chart. So if I set the parameters of the moving average, for example, to 30 and 60, it's going to use 30 and 60 candlesticks, in this case, 5-minute candlesticks, in order to create the average. Now, I double click on the lines. That's my shortcut to accessing the settings or the parameters of the study. And in the inputs is where you change those values. For example, the fast length, I want to set it to 30 and the slow length to 60. And then I just click OK right here at the bottom. And you can see how the moving averages, they recalculate. They're using a higher number, and that's why they're further removed from the candlesticks, but this is a custom parameter, custom calculation that allows you to add the same study to different charts and have them at different settings, okay? Question here from the chat. Is there a way to display the Dow, Spider, NDX on your workspace? Maybe at the bottom of the screen? There are ways. In fact, we have a position graph right here at the very top. I haven't talked about it, but if you hover over position graph, it's a bar where you see open positions. I have a few open positions on this simulator, but I also have my indexes right here at the top. If I pin this bar here to the top of my desktop, it'll always be visible, and I can narrow it down a little bit more so that it doesn't take up a lot of space, and I can customize those symbols that are showing at the top. Right now, I have the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. But if I wanted to change them, just right-click inside of the bar, go to Settings, go to Customize Position Graph Bar, and then go to the quotes. That's where you can add or remove symbols from view. So yes, you can put that at the very top. Let's see if you wanted to move this to the bottom. I suppose you can. Let me go ahead and drag it. Yep. And you can put it right here at the bottom. That's something that you can do as well. So I have my positions and I also have my indexes at the bottom. Let me click and drag one more time. And let me leave it right there at the top. Okay. And I'm just going to unpin it so that it hides automatically. One thing that I wanted to show you is some scanning capabilities. So I'm going to switch over here to a radar screen. Let me open up a new workspace, go to apps, and click on radar screen. Okay. Here in radar screen, you can see that you have a set of columns that you can use. It comes up empty. So I can add a list of symbols. I can type, by the way, I can type in the symbols manually if that's what you need to do. So if I want to see Walmart, I just type it in and hit enter. AAPL, that's Apple. But you can also insert a pre-populated list of symbols. You can do that from the data menu and add a symbol list. We have other symbol lists, and you can, insert list of symbols based on industry sector or index components. Here at the very top, you have 3 big lists. For example, here I have the NASDAQ 100, and if I select it, it'll just add the 100 symbols that make up the NASDAQ index. Okay. Let me go ahead and remove some of the columns that I don't need. For example, bid, ask, high, and low. May not need at the moment, so I'm just going to highlight them by the header and press delete on the keyboard. As soon as there's more space on my radar screen, you can see how my symbols snake, meaning that on the left here, I have 1 through 37, and over here in the middle, I have 38 through 74. So as long as I have enough space to display all the columns, you'll have this snaking feature happening automatically. But one of the things that I want to do is resize this radar screen, because I want to have a chart here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to go to apps, click on chart. I'm going to bring the chart over here to the right-hand side and grab it by the corner to resize it so it fits this area. And I'm going to link the 2 windows together so that when I click on a symbol on the left, it populates on the right. So I'm going to click on the S here for my chart. That's the way that you turn on the symbol link. And then turn the S here for radar screen. As long as they are the same color, the link should work. If I click on Adobe, for example, here on the left, you can see that my chart switches to Adobe. Okay, it's just telling me that the options, because I think I added an option symbol on the first chart that is generating that error. But here on this new chart, I'm going to go to Studies, Add Study, and add the same moving average to line, because I'm going to show you how to do some scanning. And I'm going to do scanning on a daily time frame. So I'm going to switch the chart to daily and take a look at the moving averages. But what I'm going to do also is here in my radar screen at the same study, because that's what sets our radar screen apart from any other quotes window out there, because you can add technical indicators. I'm going to add the moving average to line. And you can see that it'll add those columns right here on my radar screen. Now let's look at Apple, which is the very top symbol. You can see how the moving averages are 226 and 226.35 and 226 even, which don't match the moving averages here on my chart, which are 226 and 225. The reason for that is because of the time frame. Remember that we talked about, we changed the chart to daily, but notice how my radar screen is set to 5 minute. So if you're adding indicators to radar screen, there's got to be an underlying interval of that data for it to make the calculations on the technical indicators. In this case, if it's averaging, what is it averaging? Is it averaging daily closes, or is it averaging 5 minute closes? In this case, or the one that I'm looking at is 5 minute closes. So I'm going to change the interval to daily. Notice that I selected the header so that it selected all the symbols in it, and then went to time frame and selected daily. And now my interval says daily, and now my moving averages right here is 226.74 and 225.51, which match my moving averages here on the right completely. Now, the reason why I did this is because I want to use radar screen as a way of scanning the markets for opportunities. Let's suppose that moving averages is our thing, and we use it as a way of identifying a change of trend. Maybe it's a simple and very lagging way of identifying a trend, but maybe we're using it just as a starting point and not as a decision-making type of indicator. In this case, if you're wanting to know out of all these 100 symbols, which ones are crossing today, like at this precise moment, radar screen can help you with that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on the column header for the moving average. Let me click on studies and click on edit the moving average for all symbols. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the alerts tab and I'm going to enable the alert. In this example, I'm going to use alert continuously, but I'm going to disable messaging. So no pop-ups, no sounds. I just want to use the alert as a visual cue or as a filtering mechanism. I'm going to click OK, and that's it. The alert is enabled, and visually, I can see where the alert has been enabled because I see a little corner on this side of the column. And every so often I see a red marker. For example, for ARM Holdings, I see a red marker, which means that they're crossing right now. Anytime you see that red marker, for example, right here, for Fastenal, if I click it, notice how the two moving averages are crossing right now. So this is a real-time alert scanner. And not only that, but I can select that value as one of the filters and say, look for the volume average alert to be true. And that's it. Out of the 100 symbols of the NASDAQ 100, we have 9 that are triggering the alert of the moving averages. Pretty cool, huh? And very easy to do. I'm able not only to use, the moving average technical idea, but I can introduce any technical idea of my preference. And I can say, search for stocks that are meeting this criteria and filter my list of symbols based on that criteria in real time. And this is a dynamic list. So if there's any new symbols that make the list and trigger the alert, then it'll be shown right here on this view. And the same happens if one of these symbols, drops from that alert criteria, it'll be removed from the list. Okay. So this is a great tool for you to find trading opportunities or events that are happening on a list of symbols. Let's move over to trading because I want to do those 3 main areas. We did charting, we did a little bit of scanning, And now I'm going to do a little bit of trading. And for that, I'm going to open up my matrix. All right, here's my matrix. Let me just resize it so that I can fit more information. Okay, you can see the trade bar right there on the right-hand side. This is an order entry tool. And other platforms, I think this layout is called a ladder or a dome, but it gives you, all the prices right here in the middle. This is the price column. And then you have the blue and the red column, which are your order entry columns. The blue is for buy and the red is for sell. So if you click on the blue, you're buying. If you click on the sell, if you click on the red, you're selling. The numbers that you see inside the blue and the red are orders waiting to get filled at each one of those levels. It's called level 2 or market depth. So market makers and ECNs make their books available so that you can see how many orders are waiting to get filled at each one of the prices. And we take all that data, pull it together, and show it to you right here on the screen. So this number up here at $70.16, when I see 500, I know that there are 500 shares of FAST being offered for $70.16. Somebody has received that order and it's in their books. So I get that visibility. I see the liquidity numbers on each one of these prices. And, I can use those numbers as a way of determining if that number will be some sort of a support or resistance level. For example, right here, a number stands out, 69.94. I'm not sure for what reason. Well, not anymore, because at one point I had over 2,000 shares waiting there to be bought at 69.94. Well, now we're 3,000. So the number keeps changing because, of course, traders are withdrawing and submitting and withdrawing and submitting orders in different places. But you can see how that may be a key price for traders, I'm saying, because of the way that the numbers are showing up here. So these are things that you can look at and analyze and see how it would affect your trading. But yes, clicking on the blue or the red will submit a trade. Let's do an example. I'm going to click here. I'm going to trade 1,000 shares. I'm going to either enter the quantity up here or select one of my history quantities. Let's suppose that I want to buy fast at 69.95. I'm going to come over here to the blue, and I'm just going to click right there. The blue box that you see right here where my cursor is, that's my active order. One of the things that you didn't see in my matrix was a confirmation window. And the reason for that is because I disabled them for classes. And that way I don't have to confirm every single example. It also turns your matrix into a one-click order entry tool, which a lot of traders enjoy because there's no confirmation window, there's no extra clicks. You have a good grasp on the technology and control the technology very well, but you can click on your matrix to place a trade with one click. All right, that makes it very convenient. And you can adjust that order very quickly by clicking and dragging. Let's say, for example, the market's moving away from the price that I wanted. I may want to increase my bid to $70. All I need to do is click my order and drag it up and drop it at $70. As you can see, I just changed it very quickly. So cancel replace can be done with a click and drag. If I wanted to cancel that order, all I need to do is click on the blue box and the order is gone. If I want to submit it again, I click on the blue again. Now, if I want to get filled, I know that the best selling price from the data that I'm seeing here is $70.05. Why? Because that's where I see people selling. Okay, and it's increasing now. If I bring my order and I drop it right there at 70.07,
order filled.
I get filled because it hits liquidity. I get filled, and you can see that I'm already at a loss. Very typical trade of mine. I'm losing $20. I traded 1,000 shares, so anytime that the price goes up or down a penny, it's going to hit my account by $10, either positive or negative. Okay, but I can see my P&L on the left-hand side, and I can also use these numbers as way of setting profit targets and stop losses. Let's say that I want to set a stop loss at $100. I just hover over -100, click, and that sends my stop right there. You selling transactions are colored in red, buying transactions are colored in blue. It just creates a very good visual of where your order stands. And
Order filled.
my stop just got hit. You can see that it exited my position and I'm out of this particular market. Does that make sense? Any questions? If you wanted to keep track of orders and positions, just open the Trade Manager application. Inside of the apps menu, you're going to find something called the Trade Manager. And the Trade Manager does give you access to different tabs. The tabs are right here at the bottom. Starting with orders, you see all your active orders and the ones that have been filled and canceled. They're going to be color coded, so it makes it easy for you to identify them. If you wanted to take a look at your positions, you have a positions tab. These are my open positions on this simulator. I see some options positions that I'm not sure if these have expired, but I can act upon my open positions right from within this window. If I right click here, I can say close this SMAR position at market. I say yes.
Order filled.
Notice that I get filled. I right click on the other leg and I say I want to close that at market. So if you notice something that you want
Order filled.
You don't necessarily have to go back to the matrix or an official order entry tool. You can do it right here from the positions tab. Makes it very convenient. Okay. All right. I don't see any questions. That's in a nutshell some of the information that I wanted to give you. And I wanted to talk briefly about charting, briefly about scanning, and briefly about trading, because I know that many of you have started with TradeStation very recently, and I want to give you as much and as much information so that you can get started, and not too much information so that you don't feel overwhelmed. A lot of people that start using the TradeStation Desktop feel a little bit intimidated because of all the different applications that are available, but you shouldn't feel intimidated. We have plenty of education to teach you and to guide you through all those different features of the platform. All right, so that's my class for today. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me today. Remember that we do the getting started every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, so you're welcome to join me as many times as you need to. It's a great opportunity to ask questions and see what other people are doing. So thank you for your time. Remember that you can check our upcoming events by going to the events page on TradeStation.com. I look forward to seeing you in one of my classes. All right. Yes, Phil, this is recorded. It'll be posted to the TradeStation YouTube channel in about in about 2 days. It takes us that much time because the video has to go through editing, production, and then it goes to compliance for review and approval. So just give us a couple or a few days before that video gets posted. I do recommend that you subscribe to the TradeStation YouTube channel and turn on the alerting bell so that anytime that we upload a video to the channel, then you get alerted that the recording is there. Now, we record every single webinar. And of course, any educational video that we upload to the channel will also notify you, okay? But again, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.